Hey guys, what's up? I'm Jonesy and welcome to Jonesy Comics. Now I know a couple videos ago I told you guys that I was going to have some pictures of Aron's drawings to kind of showcase his talents and show you guys who I'm working with. Now there is a catch. Unfortunately, we had a lot of trouble getting a scanner that could work for us for these pictures. And we were unsuccessful in that, but it costs a boatload to like go to FedEx or something and have them scan it in for you. So basically, my options were to edit on a phone as much as I could, and then print these off. They came out super dark, not really that great. So I'm gonna show you guys these pictures anyway today. And then if you guys want to see maybe like a little bit better detail, you can go to jonesycomics.com, check out my blog. I will put them in a post by themselves as well. But the point of having the pictures was to kind of talk about the comic book world, specifically how TV and movies have been so integrated into comic books now. Back in the day, we had, you had the Dark Knight and everything that kind of took off the success in the DC world. All the Batman movies before that were kind of weird. You had your Michael Keaton Batman. I mean, as a comic book fan, I personally just enjoyed them flat out. But they weren't like something that gripped the world and people started to love comic books because of them. And then of course you have on the Marvel side, you have a monster behemoth of the Marvel franchise, putting everything out from Iron Man 1, Hulk, all the way through to where we are now with Avengers Age of Ultron, this whole plotted out plan of phases of Marvel Cinematic Universe. And then of course on the TV side, you've got huge success from DC with the Arrow and the Flash. The Flash back in the 90s, with the guy, I don't know if you guys knew this, but this is kind of an Easter egg. Barry's dad, who's in prison in the show, was actually the original Flash from the previous TV series that got dropped, where like Mark Hamill was the trickster, and that's why he was on there. And then of course Marvel has their thing going. They got Agent Carter and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and not nearly as successful, but still definitely entertaining. And then they brought up Daredevil, and you're like, okay, well, Marvel can do this too. So, anyway, I wanted to talk about that while we're looking at these pictures. And again, bear with me on this. The pictures are really dark, but I put them up to the camera, and they looked good enough, basically, for you to kind of see. You guys can see what his art looks like. Now, these are just penciled. They haven't been inked or anything like that, except the last one I'm going to show you. But this is just what he does. We're hoping to actually get a colorist and maybe an inker when we get into somebody's company. But here we have The Flash. That's really cool. The Flash has been so successful in its season 1 on CW. It really cracked open a shell for a certain type of audience, I think, because you have a lot of people on there who like drama and things like that, who watch things like Supernatural and Reign and Once Upon a Time. Actually, that's probably the wrong network. Sorry guys, I think it's ABC. But it's like along those lines of shows. I never would have thought back in the day people who watched Gilmore Girls would ever enjoy The Flash or The Arrow. But thanks to those shows, they're becoming part of that popular culture with them. Next up, we have, boom, Avengers Age of Ultron. Yeah, super cool. So you got Iron Man at the front. Tony Stark's got his helmet off. Gosh, there's so much going on here. It's kind of hard to see. But like I said, I'll have this on my blog. You guys can look at it in detail. But you've got Black Widow. You've got Hawkeye going there, Captain America, Thor's up at the top, and then Ultron staring over them all. Yes, James Spader, you get those Avengers, except you don't because they're the Avengers. Not much to say here that isn't obvious. You know, Marvel really has such a massive franchise that they've rocked as far as the movies go, and they're going to continue to be popular. I doubt changing out directors. I think they have like the Russo brothers coming in for some other stuff maybe, but I don't think that maybe some more poor movies are going to make this tank. I mean, we had Iron Man 3 that people talk about how much they dislike, and then there's people that say they really like it, and stop. But anyway, you know, it just goes to show that they can still recover from maybe some bad movies or whatever. They have this all planned out, and they have insurances that make this franchise so good. Next up, I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer for it yet. If you haven't, definitely go check it out, because if you're watching this channel and you haven't seen this trailer, something happened to you. Something bad happened, and I'm sorry. Batman vs. Superman trailer. And even if you didn't see the trailer, this probably looks a little bit familiar from, you know, Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. So super cool. You see Batman with his armored suit, because that, honestly, is the only way he could ever take on Superman. Superman is ready to go, just ready to duke it out. And then Aron sent me this picture, and he was doing like the ending from the trailer. And if you guys haven't seen it, I won't spoil it, but the last like one-liner from Batman is awesome. That's gonna be huge. I hope it does well, because there's been so much talk as it's developed. You know, people didn't like Man of Steel, and that's who you're gonna see playing Superman for this. And then, of course, when Batfleck was first introduced, people were freaking out, and I was like, you know, I liked Pearl Harbor, you know. I was totally cool with it. Yeah, we'll see how that transpires. The trailer was really cool. There's just an interesting take on that stuff. I know there was somebody, I think Honest Trailers did an Honest trailer for this trailer. How many times am I going to say that? But they're basically kind of hashing out the idea that this has been done before, like we've seen this before, and maybe we have, and that's why it's up to like the director and the cinematographers and the actors to kind of make something new for us. So this one is actually one of my personal favorites, and I'm actually really excited for this movie. I hope you guys are too. But here is Ant-Man. Ta-da! Super cool. I love it. Look at the details on that, guys. That's just insane. Like these are the moments that make me freak out when I see his pictures. And I'm sure he's like, wait, what? That makes you? Like, I just did Avengers Age of Ultron. What's wrong with you, Ryan? Well, I'm kind of the uber nerd, and I like the obscure things like Ant-Man. And that's another reason that I really like where the Marvel Universe is going with all this, because they just made Ant-Man a thing. And I'm sure you guys are gonna love this movie. If you guys like Guardians of the Galaxy, you're probably gonna love Ant-Man, because it's gonna be the same tone. There's gonna be a lot of comic relief. You know, they're gonna have this very human side to them. And Scott Lang is super human. That's not what I meant to say, but hopefully you get what I'm trying to say here. He's a guy. He's just a guy, and I really like Ant-Man for that. And the fact that they can take things like Guardians of the Galaxy and Ant-Man, things that I guarantee that if you kind of read comic books, then you didn't really know about these characters before the movies came out. I mean, no. So now Marvel's rehashing a new Ant-Man origin story kind of thing while they're waiting for the movie to come out. And if you guys haven't picked that up, I'm sure you'll see the graphic novel come out pretty soon. It's been out. Ant-Man issue 1 came out a while back, so we should see that soon, but definitely pick it up. Man, it's such a good story. And they had like this big deluxe issue 1. It was so great. This is this is really cool. He actually did this for me, and he did ink this one. Everything else has been penciled so far, but he did ink this one. And I hope that I can find a better quality version of it. I might have him rescan it in. But this is super cool, guys. Here it is, the Jonesy Comics banner with my hands from the thumbnail of the first video, like awkwardly pointing at you. Nice, really cool banner here. And Aaron, I haven't said anything to you about this yet, and I was actually going to wait for the video, but you misspelled Jonesy. Now, here's why I didn't say anything, because I've seen both spellings in my lifetime of this name, and it's kind of like there's a few words in the English language where you're like, you insert a vowel and it still sounds the same. You're just like, who cares? So I don't care. I think it's still awesome. And you're the artist, not the writer. So I feel like if we haven't made jokes about that yet, we should totally do that because it's true. Like you can tell, like I draw stick people, and he, like, you know, sometimes can't spell words, and that's just, we just make a balance in a no homo way, of course. Maybe. Hey. Anyway, this is getting weird. So yeah, this is my Jonesy Comics picture here. Let's see, you got Green Arrow chilling out up here. You got Spider-Man. Let's see. We got Batman right there. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to flip you guys off. Here's Batman. And then right back here, you'll notice this little bald guy. Oh god. There we go. That's where the camera goes. And it's that little bald guy there. And I had to ask him, because the first time I saw this, I was like, who is that? Why does it look familiar? I mean, I can't really tell until you actually send me like an edited version of the picture. But he's like, yeah, no, I gotta ink it for you so you can actually see who it is. That's totally Grant Morrison, which I thought was really cool of him to do, because Grant Morrison is, of course, my favorite writer in the comic book industry. And of course, I've gotten him used to him. I say used to him because he's so out there. But Aaron's really come to appreciate him too. This has all been so cool to watch him make, and I'm so glad that I got to show this to you guys. Really, really cool. Like I said, with the details being really grainy and dark, I will definitely be putting the initial pictures onto my blog. Those were a lot whiter, and you can still kind of see some border stuff going on, but it looks a lot better, and I'll put those up for you. Well, comic books used to be a thing where it was super underground, super not cool. You know, you hear like stories of Kevin Smith and people around his age. They put comic books away for a long time because when they got into, you know, middle school, high school and stuff like that, the joke was like, oh, they're never gonna be cool or get like girlfriends or whatever if they still read comic books. And now that's not so much the case. You know, all the adults now who were teenagers back in the 80s, like reading comic books, you know, they're back to it. They're all enjoying those again because it's now an adult thing. It's no longer just for kids because it's a medium for everyone to enjoy now. Whether it is you actually are reading the comic books or you just say, I love the stories that come out of comic books and I love to see them on the big screen. Well, good for you. You know, you can see that too now. And it's successful and it's popular and the effects are so much better now. But I've had a lot of fun, and I really want to keep doing this because, like I said, it's something that I can keep myself occupied with creatively while writing the comic book, because writing comic books is not going to happen overnight. But I am hoping that even if I am a cruddy writer, that Aaron's talent, which you guys can see here, he's very talented. You know, he's got a lot going for him, so hopefully I can just tag along, just bring me with you. No, I'm just kidding. I want to work hard for him because he works really hard too. So anyways, guys, whenever you like and subscribe and comment and interact with me, you're helping me with my creative outlets. You're helping Aaron too, and I know you guys haven't met him yet, but we'll be doing some videos together. Oh, that is one thing I needed to tell you guys before I left, and man, I am so glad I have video editing software now, because I'm sure this thing's like 18 minutes long, and it shouldn't be. We're actually going to Comic-Con. We're going to Comic-Con in Dallas at the end of May. So we're actually going to be talking to hopefully some DC people and showing them our work, showing them what we can do, because we have some Superman stories and Batman stories in development. So yeah, I'm really glad whoever's watching, you know, following along with me. Thank you for going along with our ride, and I hope that I can continue to take you guys with me. But yeah, you'll get to meet him, and we're going to be doing so much fun stuff. But anyway, I am officially done rambling now. That is all I have to say. But thank you guys so much. Yeah.